So you want to discuss God, okay, which is one of the most complicated topics on earth.
For sure.
Everybody has his own opinion about this subject, but most people, most people follow the conventional wisdom. Okay,
Yes,
most people, associate themselves with certain religion. Okay, you have the Muslim, you have the Christians, you have the Jewish, you have the Hindu, you have the Buddhist. Billions of people, most of them. So if you think about it, okay, most people, yeah, let's be honest. Okay, most people follow the religions.
Yeah.
Okay, regardless of their names. Okay, so the majority of people on earth believe in religion.
Yes.
This is a fact.
Yes.
Okay, and they build their lives. They build their lives. They build their mental structure.
Yes.
Based on the ideas on their their religion.
Yes.
So what about you? What do you believe in?
So that's actually something I was thinking would come up. And it's good that we're doing this right away. So for me, God is not like something that is talked about. Like what God is the God that is spoken about in the Bible and in religious books is, I believe, an expression of God, but not what the root source of what God is. Like, I think that we have a lot of men who have existed over time who have tried to explain a concept that's way beyond them in the way that they knew how at the time. And, we're using 2,000-year-old definitions to talk about something that we have way more knowledge about now than we did then. So for me, God is like the simplest definition I think I can put on God is it is the natural law of the universe.
Yeah. Oh, okay. There is a lot of things to say here. Okay, so let's start. Okay, now you mentioned the ancient people, the prophets. Okay,
yes.
You described them that they described God, let's say, on a primitive way. Okay, and we are now starting to unlock a new vision or a new concept of God.
Yes.
Let's be honest here. Okay. The recent, or let's say the modern idea of God is vastly different, completely different. Why? These prophets speak about stories. They didn't speak about concepts. They speak about stories. They describe God in terms of an entity, a king of the universe, and he has angels. And this God has a certain type of agenda that he wants to impose in humanity, right? That's their idea.
Yes.
There's a prophets. There's a tree of prophets. There is Jesus, and before Jesus there was Noah. Maybe there was Abraham.
So my argument for that is that I very strongly believe that we humans do our best to explain things from our perspective. We're very human-centric. We put ourselves first. When we explain things to other people, we explain it from our experiences. So we try to put God into our terms rather than putting ourselves into God's terms.
Yeah. So let's speak first about the ancient people. Okay, yeah. The Jewish. Let's say the Christian God is is a version of the Jewish God.
Yes.
But let's say a God with more empathy.
Yeah.
Right?
This
is the Christian. This is the Christian God. He is the same like the Jewish God or the Old Testament's God. We agree about that. Okay, but he's a little bit has more mercy in his heart. The story is the same. Okay, but a little bit more mercy. A little bit. Right?
Yeah.
And there is a story. Now, do you believe this story? Do you believe in the Christ and the miracles that he had, that he done, or do you believe that?
I believe that he existed as a person, but I don't necessarily believe that he cured people of like the leprosy or anything like that. You know, like maybe he may ease their suffering a lot. Maybe he was a doctor who like performed curative medicine on people who were suffering. But I don't believe that he was like some dude who actually like who knew that he was a god or the son of God. I think that if anything, those were made up of stories made up about him after the fact.
You know, there is a lot of dispute about the true existence of the Christ. Okay?
Yeah.
Many people reject the whole idea. Many historians reject the whole idea of the Christ. Okay, so it's a matter of controversy. We know this, all of us. We know this. Okay, we don't know exactly if he existed or not, but let's suppose, or let's say he did exist. Okay, you know, after all, he existed or he didn't exist doesn't matter. Why? Because after all, there are more than 1 billion human beings believe that Jesus Christ existed one day. So let's say he did exist. Okay. Now, from my perspective, okay, I believe the story of religion, not just Christianity, most religions, most of the major religions. The story of these religions are more complicated. They are not just mere hallucinations, or as most atheists believe them. Okay, I don't believe these are just stories. You know, at their core, they are just stories. But I think there is some truth to them. Okay, these people, the prophets, or Jesus. Yeah. When I say prophets, I mean I include also Muhammad and the other prophets. Okay.
Yeah.
All the gurus of religions. Okay, I believe they did see something. I believe there is something happened to them. Okay, I believe they describe something, but they didn't describe it fully. Okay, I don't think they just let's say they imagined or they were delusional. No, I think they did see something, but that thing probably was more smarter than them. Okay, and that thing manipulated them, and that thing played his or her role in a way that makes us confused today. Okay, so I am not an atheist. I believe there is something out there. I'm not completely atheist.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not deist too. I'm not deist. Okay, but I'm not atheist too. I'm not pantheist. Okay, for me, I think the story of God is completely misunderstood by people. Okay, so the question we can paraphrase the issue like this: do you believe in something that manages the universe?
I believe that it is the universe. Like so. How do I explain? You've done a lot of speaking. Let me speak for a moment.
Elaborate.
So
go ahead.
You were talking about how you basically the universe is. I'm sorry, I'm thinking. From what you said, I'm getting that you're like trying to say the universe and like the religions that have existed up until now are talking about something that exists. You think that this thing exists, and you think that this thing was manipulating them to do whatever it wanted them to do rather than them. And my thing is I believe that this concept, this idea of God is not self-aware. It's not able to direct its own will the way that we do with self-consciousness. I believe that it is an unconscious entity that we, and because it's unconscious, we try to say that it is responsible for things, but truly it is us that move and shake the world. We are the ones who are responsible for what we do and what we have done, no matter what the inspiration for it was. Like, we humans are, we try to blame our problems on an entity rather than accept the fact that we are the ones who did what we did. Like, and I'm not trying to say like God doesn't exist because of that. I'm saying that I believe God does exist just as a structure of the universe. It's something that is omnipresent, but not, and no, I don't know how to explain this simply, like, for me, the universe is everything outside of, or including everything, including myself. Like literally the entirety of anything I can ever experience, or anything that we can ever observe, anything we can see. Everything is the universe, and how the universe operates without our, or even with our interactions with it. Those like patterns that naturally emerge from our behavior and what we observe in nature is what God is. The natural flow, the way that things function, how one thing always leads to another when you do it a certain way, that is God. Like, the ability to create from where there was nothing before and then create something new, that is what God is. It's the ability to generate new content out of stuff that has always done the same thing up until that point. Like, it's not a thing that is acting on itself. It's something that happens. It's something that exists. It's a part of everything all the time. It's just, it only manifests itself as imminent when a new thing is happening in the universe. Does that make sense?
Okay. Okay. Let's move on with this hypothesis, or with this notion.
Yeah.
Now I will ask you a question.
Okay.
The question is like this. This thing that you described up until now, okay? What or how I can measure its intelligence? It's intelligent force. It does something. Otherwise, it is nothing. If it is, something. So in other words, let me paraphrase this again. Okay. It has the agency. It can do something, or it is just in sleep state.
My point is that it's in sleep state. We are the ones. We are the ones who
are awake.
Yes. God is asleep. Yes.
God is asleep all the time.
Yes. That's what God is always asleep, and we're the ones who are awake. God is inside of our minds, inside of our bodies, and sleeping inside of us. We are the ones awake and active. Like, that is a great metaphor, I think. Thank you.
Okay. So God is the same as God is the universe. The universe is God.
Yes.
Okay. Now, so it has no intelligence. It has no agenda.
No.
It is not. It has no agency, or it is not agentic.
Yes.
It's just in sleep state.
Yes.
And it will never wake up.
Yes. We are.
It has no will. It has no will.
Yes.
No will.
Yes.
This is your idea.
Yes.
So it is just, in other words, what I can understand from your statement, okay, is that God is the physical world.
Yes. Including us. Everything inside the world, including us, is God.
Yeah,
yes.
The physical world.
Yes.
Okay. Now, for me, I can accept this notion to a certain level. Okay. I believe under the hood, there is agency. Subtle agency. There is agency. And there is intelligence. I believe this thing is older, is very, very old, very, very old. And through times, through different experiences, through different, I don't want to say simulations, okay? Through different worlds, it got the experience, it evolved with us, it evolved with everyone of us, it evolved with every being ever existed, okay? And because it is very, very intelligent, very, very extremely intelligent. When I say intelligence, I mean trillions of times, maybe more intelligent than us. It becomes so wise that it is silent now. It doesn't speak. Okay? I believe, yeah, God is the physical world. Yeah, I can agree with this. But I think there is also another level. I believe there is a mental structure.
See, that's something I also have seen a lot of people talk about and relate on, is the mental sphere of nature, where because we perceive ourselves as existing inside of our mind, therefore there has to be a separation, or like another part of reality where it's all a mental field. And like, while I partially agree with that, because we have consciousness, I think it's an emergent state from the natural state of the universe. It's not something that has always existed or something that came before. It came afterwards. Our mental mind is something that has emerged from the universe.
The collective consciousness. You know?
Yes, the collective consciousness has emerged from the universe. It wasn't always there. See, what I'm getting at is, if you go far enough back into the universe's history, where we have like observed that there was nothing but hydrogen atoms, before that even, like it was all a singularity. Everything that exists now was all in one place in a very tight spot. Yeah. As time has gone on from that point, everything has gotten more and more complex. And because of us being conscious and intelligent and having emerged from that system, therefore the entire system must also have the same qualities we do. That is what I believe. But because it's an unconscious state, it can't manifest that that waking motion through its own will. It's just a natural state of how everything functions and how the natural laws have emerged into being over time.
Okay, but there is a problem now I will tell you about. Okay, there is something that I believe many people miss when they provide this idea, or when they speak about this idea, which is look, the universe is old enough, okay, to allow for emergence of other life forms, for intelligent life.
Yes.
Okay, and if you give this life time enough, you give this life forms time enough. Okay? These life forms will continue its natural evolution.
Yes.
Its natural curve toward intelligence and toward super intelligence.
Yes.
Now, when you hit this plateau or this threshold, okay, when you hit this plateau or this peak, okay, there is a problem here that people often miss, which is that this super intelligence is intelligent enough to control the universe, or emerge itself with the universe, and the universe as a whole becomes intelligent and become agentic under the hood.
So there's another way to look at that is, are we aware of our breathing, or are we aware of the way our body processes food, and then the way we turn it into waste? Are we consciously, present while our blood moves through our body? Like, are we like watching every single bit of blood go through our heart into the next spot with our mental awareness? No, not really. Like, these things just happen. What you're saying is basically that if God, like this being in the universe, this God can, like, your idea is that this God would be able to control its own heart, basically, and tell its heart where to pump the blood. But in reality, it just does it. It's not telling it to do it. It just does it naturally. Like, if we were to compare ourselves to nature rather than trying to compare nature to ourselves, we wouldn't be able to use our mind's understanding. We would have to use what we see. And what we see in nature is usually what is true through the mental process of understanding. If we just accept things as we see them, then we usually end up misled. There's a lot of counterintuitive things out there. However, you have to put the two together. It's the understanding and the seeing. And when you mix the two, you can create a proper image.
Yeah, you can look at it from this point, from this perspective. I agree with this. Okay, but again, the problem is there's two properties that you should consider. Okay, when you speak about the universe as a God. Okay. Agency and intelligence. Okay, if the universe is asleep, as you said, if the God is asleep or the universe is asleep, okay, life will continue evolving until it hits, as I said before, until it hits the super intelligence level. Then this super intelligence, something?
It seems like you're trying to predict the future, my dude. Like, how are you trying to say, like, I understand we're not at a point of super intelligence yet. Like, how can we talk about where that is and what that means until we've been there? We haven't been there yet. It's all conceptual. It's all in our mind at that point. We're just making up bullshit about what we don't know. We haven't experienced it, like.
Yeah. But look. By rational thinking alone, you can arrive to this conclusion. Okay. See, as people arrive to simulation theory, it's the same thing. Why they say we are living in a simulation? How is that possible? Because they say that aliens.
So
fly years.
The simulation thing is really just because if you take away the sensory data of the human body, of our body, like we feel, we touch, we taste, we see, we smell. If you remove these senses and we still experience the universe, the way that we would experience the universe is as the way the matrix is presented to us. We would experience it as waves of energy, and we would also be waves of energy. That is all the universe actually is without senses to perceive the data for us. Everything is just moving waves of energy clashing against each other. And when they clash, they create either new things or objects for people to witness. Like if you take away the ability to perceive data and still have a way to communicate with everything, that's what it would look like.
Yeah. When you speak about waves of energy, I think you are basing this or.
I'm talking about quantum field theory right now. It's about string theory.
This is the universe, okay, but this is not the complete picture of the physical universe, okay. This is just our science at this moment, okay. We perceive the world like this, okay.
Yeah.
I don't think, okay, energy and all these concepts are fundamental. I think they are not fundamental. I think information is fundamental. Numbers are fundamental, but not energy, not quantum physics, not all that.
Well, see, the thing about that is if the entire universe is one whole, then everything that you observe, and yourself included, is a divided part of that whole. The only true number is one, because everything is one. So therefore,
Exactly.
the numbers don't actually matter. It's the fundamental force is the electromagnetic force at that point.
Even the forces, the four major forces in nature. Okay, I told you they are not fundamental. I don't think they are fundamental. I say you know, I am saying this because I don't believe that the physical world is the fundamental world.
I
Okay,
see.
I think there is something more fundamental in nature. We can't perceive it. We describe the world according, as you said, to our windows to nature. I mean, our senses.
Yes.
We describe the world according to these sensors. These are our sensors. Okay,
Yeah.
and we build all our mental structure in relationship to these sensors. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
everything, even mathematics. Even mathematics. We use mathematics, but maybe it is not the whole picture. Maybe there is something else there, out there. As you know, we just can see 5% of the total things out there. Just 5%. Okay, there is
Yeah.
dark energy. There's dark matter. There's a lot of things, weird things going on out there. Okay, so to say that it is just end here, I don't think so. Listen, what about dark energy? We don't know what it is. We know it's there. We can measure it. We can see its effect. But what if there is something inside there? What if there is something intelligent inside there?
Yeah,
And
but
that thing controls
what
the
if?
energy. Yeah,
But
yeah.
it seems like you're trying to project the belief in the what if God. I'm talking about this is God imminent. This is God now. This is God that exists in front of you, and you can touch, taste, and feel. It is a God that exists, and you can fucking exist as a part of it, and it's already there. You don't have to fucking do any extra leaps of faith.
Yeah.
You don't have to believe in
Yeah, yeah.
anything extra. It's right in front of you. You know?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I agree with this. That's fine. Okay, so the physical world is God, but your God is sleep. It doesn't do anything. It
But
is just
when you're listen,
the
when
God.
you're
Listen.
sleeping, when your body is sleeping, your
Yeah.
heart is still beating, you are still breathing, you're still your blood, like your
Yeah.
cells are still dividing. You have so many things happening inside your body when you're sleeping. You cannot say that when you're asleep, it prevents you from doing stuff or you're not doing anything. God is maybe sleeping, but everything inside of God is still moving. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, but so so the consciousness of this God that you are describing is now in
Yes.
sleeping mode inside the universe. So outside the universe, so it's like a human. So it is aware from the outside. It's aware of its surrounding on the infinite ocean of things, but it doesn't know anything inside. It's asleep from inside. This is what you are describing. It's
Yes.
like a
Yes.
sphere.
Yes.
The sphere is aware of what is outside of it, but is not aware of what's inside of it.
Yes. Yes.
This is this is
Yes.
your idea. This is
Yes.
your idea.
Yes.
Okay. So there is a fundamental problem here. I will tell you about, which is that in this case, your God has an issue. He
What is
doesn't
that?
know. Has an issue because he sleep and he can't do anything inside. So how you can describe him as a God? Okay,
Because
this is a
his body that
weird
we
God.
his body that we live within is the natural flaw. Like what, like for example, when it was just hydrogen atoms at the beginning of the universe, that was the entire body. It was super simple. There weren't any laws to it. But as God became more complex, the more laws be formed in his as functions, like mathematical formula. They functions inside of the body of God as God became more complex over time and space expanding and new elements evolving from the ones that came before, so on and so forth. You get more evolved as we even as humans ourselves get more complex. We will evolve to have more natural rules that we all just follow because it makes our lives easier to operate with. Like, the universe has structure to it. There's laws, there's things that you cannot change no matter what you do. That's the reason gravity functions. Like, these are the forces of God.
But God, your God isn't aware of himself and the things inside the universe. This is what you said. This is what you described.
Yeah,
Right? So how is God? You said he is God. When you say something is God, what is the definition of God? God is a being that is aware of himself and everything inside and outside.
Where does this say? I'll look up the definition of God right now.
Okay, let's go to Wikipedia and type God. Okay,
A superhuman being or spirit worshipped as having power over nature or human fortunes. There's nothing that says it has to be conscious of itself. Okay. It's just saying that it has to have power over the universe, and if the universe's natural law is the power of God, then that is just enough of a definition to give it its credence using the definition of the word.
Okay, this is, I respect this idea. Okay, but I don't think it is a complete picture of what's going on.
See, I agree. I think that it is incomplete because we don't have enough information yet. We're still experiencing the universe. We don't even know like what's inside the ocean on our own planet. We're sitting like, and we've had all these prophets over time try to say through our limited understanding at the time what this entire universal being was, right? Well, we're just in a tiny fraction of the whole. We're just a tiny little piece, like a fucking piece of sand on a fucking beach. Like, excuse my language. Like,
no, it's okay. But you should think about it like this, Regulus. Listen, I believe we should distinguish. We should distinguish between the physical component of the existence. I'm not speaking here about the universe, about the existence, about the totality of things here. Okay. And this is, I believe, God lies as a supreme being over the existence as a whole, not just this universe. This is just one sphere of multiple spheres.
But have you experienced other spheres? How do you know there's multiple spheres?
Because according to our theories, there is the multiverse.
That is one theory.
That hints. These theories hint toward a larger thing.
There's multiple theories on this specific subject. One of them is multiple dimensions. The other is that everything is all connected, and that when there's multiple situations that can occur from one given problem, or like there would be multiple solutions, all those solutions will happen over time each time the problem comes up. And like, how do I explain this simply? So you have a timeline, right? From point A to point B, and you have a problem. Say this problem takes up this much of a segment, and then you have a solution right after it. You have the problem, the solution, you have another problem and another solution, another problem and another solution down the line until all of the solutions to that problem have been tried by the universe. Another theory is that the universe tests every possibility before choosing whatever it wants to be the right answer.
Your universe has no will, and it doesn't choose anything.
Well, I'm not. See, that's the hard part. I have to use my own understanding of myself to relate the universe to me to be able to relate it to you. It's communication. If I was just in my own head trying to explain this, I wouldn't even need to use the fucking personal reference. I would just be able to say it is what it is. I wouldn't even.
No. Yeah, I believe the universe is blind from the outside. I mean, the universe is blind, but it's not completely blind. There is something under the hood.
I definitely agree. Like the connection, whatever it is that connects us outside of gravity, the way that we like have, we all came from the same thing. Everything is from the same source. There's no separate, if we may become more different the farther down the line we go, but it will always be that everything is from the same thing to begin with. Like,
You can. That's true. Yes, that's true. But again, there is two things that you should consider. Okay, intelligence and agency. Okay, intelligence is very important. It's very important in this matter. Okay, because God, if he's not intelligent, that means he's sleeping or.
Yeah.
Intelligence. I'm not speaking about consciousness. Be careful. I'm not speaking about consciousness. Consciousness is a different matter. Okay. Speak about intelligence. I'm specific. Okay, because as I told you, maybe this is not the first time we are here.
Well, what if that's really just us trying to make God like us rather than us accepting God for being God? Like, if God is just God, as God is, right?
We accept a sleeping God. This is what you are proposing. We accept the notion that God is sleeping. I think you're confused. You're confused.
Well,
You're confusing God with the physical world.
No. Even like the physical world is the particles that we observe through our senses. Before the sensing, while the waves are moving, before they've been sensed, they're still in motion, and that is what God is. The universe in motion before it has been sensed by something.
Okay.
And the way that we observe patterns emerging from that like natural flow is how we observe God in the physical world.
But all quantum physics in the table, aside from you. Okay? Just to close your eyes. Okay, and imagine that there is no light, there is no quantum physics, there is no quantum particle, sorry. There is nothing of such thing. Okay? There is nothing like that. Now, what is your God? What is your God?
I mean, the issue with that is there would be no universe without that. Like the quantum level is the basic root. The quarks are what build the entire universe. Without quarks, there's no universe, bro. I don't understand. Like you're sitting here trying to make me imagine a universe where there's no universe. Like, what do you mean? Where like nothing ever existed to begin with? Is what you're saying? God without God is not. There's like the lack of everything. I don't understand.
Here is the metaphysical problem. Okay, there is nothing called nothing. There is always something.
I said the lack of everything. I didn't say nothing. You said nothing.
Yeah.
The lack of everything is literally the lack of everything.
The problem is that there is nothing called lack of everything. There should be something. Okay, there should be something there. You say
so void. Now. You mean void?
You say it now.
How about the word void?
Yeah. You see, this is very cool point that you are mentioning. A complete void. Okay, even the complete void is still one, which is a number.
But I think the concept of you can drop the one and put whole, and then put divided parts of the whole instead.
Exactly.
And then it's not. See, we try to put numbers onto the whole and divided parts of the whole to make it so we can relate to it through measurement and scale, I think. But in truth, it's like there is no separation. Everything is still connected and operating together to make that whole. It's just we perceive ourselves as separate from each other because of our names and our individual experiences and blah, blah, blah that make us think that we're not a part of the whole. We think we're our own being, separate from the world. And that separation is what causes the lack of understanding of our place in oneness and in the whole. It's we grow up thinking we're our own being, and we're not taught to fucking experience the universe as a part of the universe. We're taught to experience the universe separate from the universe.